Yo yo yo, new Are you ready to hear about animal echolocation? You better be, because that's gonna be today's episode apparently. So I am a DM in my Dungeons and Dragons game. I have a little thing going on, and this all started with I feel like the meme of like the fucking aerodynamics of a cow with the caption of the type of shit your DM is researching for you type shit. That is the exact situation I'm in right now, and it is ridiculous, but I love it because I now know way more about echolocation than I ever should have. So one of my players have been interacting with this this fucking demon-looking guy, essentially. I don't know if my players are listening to this, so I will not be spoiling what they have interacted with, in great detail at least. But eventually, essentially, one of my players have gotten a little curse placed upon them because they have been fucking around and finding out through interacting with this god being. And they have gotten a vampiric curse, so they are basically like slowly but surely probably becoming like more and more a vampire. And one of the abilities of this vampire, I have decided that, I don't know, I don't actually know if there's like an official vampire curse in D&D. There probably is, but I just homebrewed the shit out of it because that's more fun to me. So I took inspiration from just like the like, what do vampires do? What are the vampire shticks, you know? One of them being echolocation, basically communicating with bats, and knowing their nature way more than they normally would have, type shit. But I don't know enough about echolocation to really decide whether it was a good power-up to give, or like a way too overpowered power-up to give. I mean, they're level, I think, 5 at this point. I really should know as their DM how big their levels are, which level they're in. But I don't. I think it's 5. I think they're at level 5. 5 or 6. The echolocation thing turned out to be actually pretty good at this point, I think. So the way I ruled it was basically, before I knew anything about it, echolocation is not a crazy concept. It's, sound, emitting sound, and then receiving that sound back, and thereby, through screeching and hearing, roughly what is like around you, that's basically what I've been going off of. But again, I had to research it before, actually implementing it. I have now implemented it, being so that, it's still the, I was about to say prologue, it's still the early stages of this curse, or blessing, depending how you look at it. So the abilities are not way too overpowered or way too, like, drawbacky. Like, there's not huge pros and huge cons, but there are some. Also, just, like, all physical attributes have just been buffed, like, slightly. But also, they, kind of roleplay heavy, I guess. They prefer just not to sleep, really. At least not during the night. They have, like, a natural disposition towards sleeping during the day now, and that's gonna probably be pretty funny, because the rest of the party doesn't know about this curse. Well, I guess they do now if they listen to this, but hopefully we will have had a session before that. One of the players is on vacation right now, so we haven't really played for like a fucking month. Womp womp. Even though I live with the guys, but again, vacationing be vacation. Anyhow, let's get into echolocation, because that is of course why you are here. So, echolocation, the thing I gave him, my player, was roughly, you know, 100 feet, 30-ish meters of echolocation, which seems about right. It doesn't remove my power to like improvise, like basically everything, because I don't know. This is also kind of a tool to make me, you know, prepare more like areas, because a lot of areas in the game I just have like a rough idea of like, oh, this is the place, this is the shtick of the place, and you know, one or two people or like key things, and that works relatively fine. But you know, if they stay there for a longer period of time and interact with, you know, if they were to use it as a battle map, I don't always have the greatest like insight of what's the items near to use, and where are, you know, deciding previously where are the enemies coming from, and you know, stuff like that. So this will hopefully help me, you know, I don't know, feeling self-conscious and paranoid about this one player using echolocation all the time, every time they have the possibility to. And you know, hopefully I will just have more stuff prepared. But 100 feet seems fine to me, even though Bat's echolocation can apparently go up to like 600 meters. Not even feet, fucking meters. Which is kinda crazy. But I mean, it makes sense because it's just sound. And also, I don't really have to worry about the whole, like, how long does this take? The sound to travel, how long does it take? Because it's pretty much instantaneous, you know, the sound. We'll also get into that in way more detail, but the sound travel, speed of sound is, I think I remember it as 324 meters per second. So even if I were to put it at like the absolute most, you know, highest limit of roughly 600 meters a second, it would take 2 seconds to get there and 2 seconds to get back, and then you have, of course, 2 seconds in a, you know, in a normal 5e round to essentially just do your action. So that's not a problem. But I just set the echolocation to 1 action, so they can't use it like as a free bonus action or a free action mid-combat. Maybe I should change it to a bonus action. I don't know. We'll see how I'll see how it works. Maybe we'll tweak it later. But essentially, what I found out pretty early on, not that I'm ever gonna use this probably, but there are like 2 different types of not sonar. I guess we'll get into sonar also, but there are 2 types of echolocation, which is called I have the fucking wiki site over here because otherwise I could not remember it. FM and CF. Basically, I'm not gonna refer to those whatsoever for the rest of this entire thing. But all you gotta know is that one of them is a like constant noise, like a constant outburst of like long ranged, like getting a pretty good idea, just of your surrounding area. Basically, a constant noise that is constantly also, you know, getting propelled back at you. And the other one is like shorter, consistent bursts of echolocation sounds, of these higher frequency sounds that are basically used for more for like just you know, generally just better in every single way, I think. I don't see any reason other than just, you know, I guess I see a reason for both. Did I just lose to these guys? This is embarrassing as hell. So basically you have, let me just make sure I'm not gaslighting you here. Yeah, so basically the short bursts are just like way better at very accurately and quickly finding out where is prey and where is like where is brick wall that I will fly into in just a second, you know? But if you use the constant sound, the constant frequency, not in short bursts, like, yeah, you know there's a brick wall, but you don't know, like, if there is some sort of, like, predator or something. Basically, the reason why I like the short burst so much is because it very clearly it's very effective at telling you about moving targets, whether that be, you know, whether you are the hunter or the hunted. You know, if there's some sort of predator bird hunting you, you can pretty easily find out where are they there, how fast are they moving, in which direction, you know, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That's cool as fuck. But also, you know, it's very accurate to the point where, you know, bats mostly feed on, like, moths and, you know, gnats and stuff like that. And they are obviously very fucking small and travel in, like, very compact groups. But they're apparently, if they are close enough, they can actually, like, locate all the individual, like, insects with this small short burst, and, like, where is every individual insect going, which one is the easiest target for me. So that is really fucking cool. I don't know why I found that cool, but that is really fucking cool to me. But what is even more cool, you may ask, is the way that some species, especially of moths, goddammit, they have worked out countermeasures for this, like, for this echolocation. Because one major way, the meta essentially for countering echolocation is just to make your own echolocation. And there are two different types of types of versions to do types of ways to do this. One is to just, like, disrupt or, like, jam the signal coming from the bats and just kind of confuse them and stun them, and, like, they don't know what the fuck is going on. And, you know, this also could, you know, bats can kind of confuse themselves, apparently, by just using the worst possible version of they usually go for both, like, in combination with each other. How was it? Either, yeah, I guess it would make sense if they use, like, a short burst first to find out, because if they start with the long consistent burst or a long consistent frequency, it just gets turned back towards them, and, you know, the sound that comes back at them is way higher than the sound they send out, even though it's the same, I know, but, you know, when the sound comes back in their funny little ears, it is way higher pitch, or way higher frequency, I guess, not frequency, way higher, it's way louder. So if they use their frequency carelessly, they just kind of fuck themselves over, so they have to use it in a very specific way, like, combination-wise. And I've kind of forgotten how exactly that combination is, but I'm pretty sure it is, you know, short frequency, long frequency, then short frequency again, or, you know, burst frequency. So, I'm pretty sure that's the way they do it, in order to not, like, jam themselves and spook themselves. But of course, predators, or fucking, not predators, you know, the hunted, the moths and whatnot, they can also make these, like, they can just fuck up the signal that comes back to them, and basically just, like, slam the bats in the ears, and they get fucked. They get fucked over by that, which is really cool. But another way they do it, you know, turning back to the second way I mentioned way long ago, is that they basically send out a signal, basically like how you see a, you know, a frog in nature. If it's if it's just like a gray green looking frog, it's probably safe to eat, you know, don't take my advice on that, but it's probably safe to eat. Whereas if it is a bright purple frog, or like bright light green frog, it's probably not the safest to eat. Like, it's a defense mechanism to show that you are poisonous, even though you maybe are not. Many of them are. There's also the what's it called, the clownfish, I'm pretty sure it's called. Has the same way of signaling that it is very dangerous to eat. You should not eat me, and it works for most animals. Even though there are, of course, animals that have adapted specifically to counter, you know, like it. Yeah, you can scream at me as much as you want, but I'm still gonna eat you because your specific poison does not affect me. But basically this, like, color is... Well, I'm gonna take a hit here. I'm not crazy. This specific, like, color coding is basically the same some moths do. I think they're called tiger moths. But they do the exact same thing, but with echolocation instead. I don't really know how that works. It doesn't really say it unless I go into like 10 different Wikipedias, and I don't really feel like I have the time to do that. Or like read this entire thing, because again, I am just using this as, you know, reference points for my D&D game. I'm not personally all too invested in animal echolocation, even though I think it's pretty cool and would like to know how it works. But now I know roughly how it works, you know. But the thing I'm most excited about, I guess, in terms of D&D, how echolocation would work, is the interaction between, like, you know, normal as bats echolocation, which is the thing the guy has, my player has now, and how that interacts with underwater echolocation, and, you know, what's the difference between that and like human sonar panels and whatnot. It said something about human sonar. It said something about human sonars being built in like beams instead of waves, like, you know, basically pillars of sound, I guess. So no, not like in waves, as I don't know, waveforms. Which I don't really know why. Is that like more accurate or what's going on? I don't actually know. It didn't really say a lot about it, but I guess I don't really. My D&D society has not invented Sonar yet anyway, so I don't really need to deep dive into that. Unless, of course, something happens. You never know what the fuck you're gonna research as a DM, I gotta be honest. Yes, so... But basically, my player here, who now has, like, bat versions of Sonar, interacting with underwater creatures' sonar, because they are on the same site, like in like general animal echolocation, they talk about both bats and whales echolocation, because those are like the two most common ones, of course. But how do they interact with each other? I guess they don't really. They're not supposed to interact with each other, but could they? I don't know. That's kind of why I'm like thinking of deeper diving into this, but I guess I don't really need to right now. It's just a funny gimmick. Like, you know, what if it comes up? Like, it would be kind of cool to have that information. Like, could the two types of sonar, is it even two different types, or is it the same type? Because there was something about, you know, air basically absorbing a lot of frequencies. But I suppose water could absorb even more frequency. So, like, how do those interact with each other? How do those, like, is it just a louder sound fixes all problems? I don't really know. But I'm pretty positive. It might just be a perception type thing, but I'm pretty sure humans, like, you know, in real world life, we can hear way more, you know, frequency, like echolocation type deal, underwater than we can above water. Don't quote me on that, I don't know. But that is what I think. That might be factual. Maybe, perhaps, mayhaps. So yeah, that is my little thing on echolocation. That's pretty cool to know about, I guess. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk here. Now I can, you know, die to zero in peace. So, what else have I tackled onto this vampire curse, you may say? Because it's not it's just an early onset fucking vampire curse. What does that entail? Because vampires in general, they have a lot of fucking rules and stuff about them. Like, they have, of course, the general shtick that they just like disintegrate in the sun. So they usually just sleep at night, which is, I'm pretty sure they don't need to sleep at night, but they're just kind of, you know, naturally inclined, I guess, to sleep at night instead of the day, or to sleep in the day instead of the night, just to like avoid sunlight. But this curse, also because it's like kind of, you know, it's creeping up on him, he instead gets this curse that basically just gives him what's it called, exhaustion if he stays out in like direct sunlight for too long. He just gets a point of exhaustion for each hour that he is in the sunlight, which could be pretty cool. Like, what if they're in some sort of desert setting or whatnot, like constantly having to have a like very comically large hat on, and you know, when the, you know, when I guess the curse eventually worsens, like what's the development's gonna be? I guess we'll get into that. But what else is a vampire shtick? So they of course have sunlight. They have sleeping in a coffin, because they just like it there. In D&D, they also have this thing about like their home. They have a sort of base, I suppose, where if they die in their like bat form, or if they die at all, they turn into like a mist of bats, like kind of Itachi style, you know, turning into crows, but turning into bats instead. They just kind of float back to their resting place, and you know, if they get there within a certain amount of time, they just gotta sleep for a while. They just gotta sleep off their injuries, and they're fine again. So how would I implement that as a curse? I haven't yet on this like early stage. But who knows? Who knows how or when I will be implementing that. I was about to say I'm gonna get there when I get there, but these videos will probably be over by the time I do get there. Oh well, I guess we will have to. I don't fucking know. I guess that'll be my own problem by then. What else did I give him? I gave him echolocation, of course, and also just like some sort of uncanny ability to like understand and communicate with bats in general. I leaned a lot into the bats aspect of the entire thing, just because it works. It's not like a huge thing, but they are in some sort of like beast folk country right now, so there is a non-zero chance that they will probably run into a bat somewhere. In lore, I have all the bats like living in a huge cave in the outskirts of the city, but I guess my players didn't know that until like right now, where I said it. Anyway. So what else did I tackle on there? Just general ability score improvements. Because that's apparently a thing in like on the vampire character sheet, is that they just get really physically buff. Don't ask me why. They also have the thing where you there are two more things on the top of my head. Some sort of thing about running water. Like, they fucking hate running water. Do vampires also hate garlic, or is that witches? Can't remember. And also, what don't say also when you forget what you were talking about. Garlic really threw me off. I don't know why. Fucking getting invited into like homes and buildings and whatnot. Having an invite before going into somebody's home. How do you make like separate stages for that? Do I have to make separate stages for that? Or do I just make it so that, you know, at some point it just comes up at some stage of this curse? It's just a thing that is required to walk into somebody's home. What happens if they don't? Are they just like, do they just take damage, or do they, like, can they just physically not go in? I don't really know. I don't know how I'm gonna rule that. I don't even know how many stages of this curse there's gonna be. I just made it up, so I am not sure whatsoever. Good game, good game. Yeah, so that is basically what I've been up to today. Just prepping D&D, and I was about to yap about like everything I had prepped, because I think it's pretty cool. Like, just dabbling in like consequences of what the players have done. But I once again realized that my players are probably listening to this, and not fucking hopping off. So yeah, screw you. Anyway, what? What do I have? What else do I have? I guess let me check for a second that I actually got everything. Oh right, there's a huge little thing that I missed talking about. The whole drinking blood aspect is also a, you know, little teeny tiny thing that vampires need to do. I don't like not having my OBS up on my second screen. That is a thing that also needs to you know, be handled, be taken care of in every situation ever. You know, that includes vampires. So this is also just a nice way to like make my party turn more, you know, seemingly evil. Is that now this fucking guy needs to drink, you know, just a little taste of blood every single day. Which is pretty cool. And you know, how I handle that specifically, I don't really know how that is gonna turn out. I don't really know. But I guess that's also a part of the, like, I don't know, as a DM here, I don't like having everything planned out and, you know, everything. I just have solid base ideas, and then building upon those as we move along. Do I improv like 90% of everything I do? Yes, absolutely, but my players don't know that. Surely. God damn it. Am I about to lose to Galleon again? I hope not. Let's heal up before he absolutely clobbers us. So, I completely forget what I was talking about. Holy shit. This is the second time it has happened. This is the third time it has happened during this entire thing. I guess if we die here, it doesn't matter anyway. Yep, okay. I swear to God that wasn't... That was a mistake. It wasn't intentional. Damn. Well, that sucks. Anyway, I guess I'll see you later today. I'll probably just watch some Legend of Korra for the rest of the day. Pretty cool. Stay tuned, fellas. Bye.